Hi everyone, it's Darlene. Welcome back for another card video. Today's card is something a little different that I've never done before, so I guess it's a new technique. This is called Leafy. It's an embossing folder by Sizzix and Tim Holtz. I'm using the Altenew UR set, which I use a lot, and just the U word in this Lucky to Know You Simon Says stamp die. I'm going to take my Nina Solar White cardstock and run it through the Big Shot, and I've got this Micron 03 black pen. And I use it for my Zen tangling, but I found that it's also really good with Copic markers. What I'm going to do is outline the inside of each of these leaves. And I'm doing it very slowly, so this is real time, so you can get a feel for how fast I'm moving. And you want to kind of put pressure along the outside so that you get right along the edge. But if you put too much pressure, then you'll easily go up the raised portion of the cardstock, and you don't want to do that. So the first time I did this, I messed up a few times, and with just a little bit of practice, it's really easy to do and you get the hang of it. A good tip to remember is to hold your pen lightly, so don't grip it in like a vice grip or anything like that. So kind of let your hand be a little loose to go around the edges. You could do this with any embossing folder, obviously, but you want to keep in mind not to color too much and to leave some of it just white and raised up. I'm going to color inside each of these leaves with 3 Copic markers, and it seems kind of random, my colors here. I've got 67, 82, and 40. I just looked at my chart and thought what would look good together. And so what I'm going to do is take my darkest one and I'm flicking upward. This is the YG67, but I'm actually coloring the bottom first. You can see the inside, and then flicking upward, because sometimes when you flick, you tend to have a fast movement and you could easily go outside the lines. So I'm just doing the first part here. I'm going to do it in sections just because I think it's better with the Copic markers to not let them dry for too long, because then you get a better blend. So my next color is going to be the easiest one, because I'm going to start about halfway up the color I already put down, and I'm going to use that same flicking motion. And I'm really going to focus on the edge of the YG67 to make sure that it is blending with this G82. So I'm just going to speed through the rest of this part quickly. Now for my third color, I'm going to flip it over because I'm going to flick in the opposite direction. So I'm going to do the same thing I did with the YG67, except now I'm starting on the other side and flicking toward the inside of the leaf. And again, as my leaves get bigger, then it's easier to kind of color the bottom and flick upward so I don't go outside the lines. And I will go outside the lines. I mean, it's inevitable, and I'm going to show you in a minute here how to handle that. So in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and speed this up, and that will complete how I'm going to color each of these parts. So I went ahead and did the rest off camera since I'm doing them all the same way. And now it's time to fix a mistake. So I'm using my Zero colorless blender, and I didn't make too many mistakes this time around, but it's really easy to fix. I'm just going to go over. The colorless blender actually pushes color away. So I'm going to, wherever I came above the indentation of the paper, I'm just going to hold my Zero colorless blender there. And just kind of push that color back over, and it's really quick and easy to do. So wherever I made a mistake, I'm going to do that, and then I'll be done with my coloring. I'm going to take some Stampin' Up! Black cardstock and cut out the U at the bottom, which actually comes out as a Y and then the OU, so there's 2 different pieces here. And then I'm going to take my UR Special sentiment, and I'm going to stamp it onto that same black cardstock with some white embossing powder. And I noticed I really didn't like the way it came out. I think I pushed too hard on the stamp. So I did it again, and you can see the word special is really fat the first time I did it, but it came out great the second time. So I didn't really realize the photopolymer could squish, but it does. Anyway, I trimmed the bottom with a trimmer, and then I just took a scissor and chopped off the U. So that's ready to go, and now I'll take my Y and put some 2A glue on the back, and I'm going to put it on with some tweezers, kind of where the leaves go in a little bit, where I'll have a little bit more space. And then same thing, 2A glue with the OU. And then for the R Special, I'm going to put the 2A on the back, and then I'm going to tuck it under the kind of edge of the Y, the scripty part of the Y, so that the word is connected. To the U is connected to the R Special, so your eye just sort of flows with it. All right, so I'm going to press that down into place, And now I'm going to adhere this panel, and because it's textured, sometimes the tape runner won't stick very well, so I'm going to use some Tombow Mono Multi-Glue. Make sure I go on the edge as far as I can without it seeping out so that it's secure and it doesn't kind of pop up on the edges. And then I placed an acrylic block over it for, I don't know, 5 minutes to let it dry. I'm using my Assorted Moonshine sequins by Simon Says Stamp. They're one of my favorites. They come in a bunch of different sizes, and I'm going to color them with the same Copic markers I used to color the cardstock. So this is the YG67. It's the darkest green. I'm going to hold them. You can use a paper piercer. I'm using my tweezers. I'm just holding it down in the middle and just coloring it with my marker. It is a little streaky. It's kind of like coloring a rhinestone, which we used to do all the time. But it's so small that I don't think it looks bad at all. And that way you get the same color sequin as you're coloring. So I thought it was a great way to kind of match things up. So I'm going to take my pick-me-up stick. I usually pull them up. I arrange them all first, and then I squirt some glue and then put it back down. This is an acrylic piece that comes with the pick-me-up stick, so you can pull it off the sticky part. So I'm going to do that with all of my sequins here, and I use the multi-medium matte because it dries matte, so it's not glossy. So if you kind of mess up and go outside the sequin, it's not going to be noticeable. And that is the card for today. So kind of a clean and simple look. And I like the shading of the Copic markers. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.